You know, we've all been taught to think of the cloud as this weightless, kind of magical thing floating up in the sky. But what if that's just not true? What if it actually has a physical weight? And that weight is measured in billions of gallons of fresh water. Yeah. Today, we're diving into the hidden water footprint of artificial intelligence, a problem the source material calls the Silicon Drought.
So think about this. Every single time you ask an AI to write an email for you or, generate a cool image or just answer a simple question, a silent tap starts running somewhere out there in the world. And look, this isn't just some poetic metaphor, it's real. We are literally trading an essential organic resource. I'm talking about fresh water for a synthetic one.
1 liter. Just think about that for a second. That's a whole bottle of water. So what on earth does that have to do with AI? Well, as it turns out, pretty much everything.
Because that 1 liter of water, that's the price you pay for just a handful of interactions with a big AI model. We're talking maybe 20 to 50 prompts. So a quick conversation, generating a few images, and poof, a whole bottle of fresh water is gone. That one simple fact, it completely changes how we have to think about the real cost of AI.
All right, so how is this even possible, right? Let's get into the nitty-gritty of how AI actually drinks all this water.
I mean, really, why is AI so thirsty? It's not like the servers are sipping on a cool drink. The answer really boils down to pure physics and a massive heat problem.
Okay, so the chips that power all this modern AI, they get so incredibly hot that they would literally melt if you tried to cool them with just regular old air conditioning. No joke. So the solution is something called evaporative cooling. And what that means is data centers are basically spraying massive amounts of fresh, pure water directly onto their super hot equipment. The water soaks up all that insane heat and just evaporates. It turns into vapor. And the key thing to remember here is that this is a one-way trip. That water, it's gone for good.
And to give you an idea of the staggering scale we're talking about here, this is not some small leak. Get this, a single one of these hyperscale AI data centers can use as much water every single day as a city of 50,000 people. Let that sink in. Our desire for instant AI answers is literally draining the resources of entire communities.
Now, this whole process, it doesn't just happen in a vacuum, It's actually creating a new kind of global conflict. We're talking about real places with real people and real ecosystems getting caught in the middle.
And this image here really just says it all, doesn't it? You have the explosive growth of technology on one side, colliding head-on with the fragility of the natural world on the other. And here's the kicker. The biggest AI development hubs are popping up in the very places that can least afford to lose a single drop of water.
And we're not talking about hypotheticals here. This is happening right now in places like Arizona, Chile, across the Middle East. Tech giants are setting up these gigantic data centers in regions that are already struggling with extreme water shortages. So you have farmers watching their wells run dry because a data center can outbid them for water rights. This isn't just an environmental problem anymore, it's a social one. It's threatening farms, it's jacking up water prices for regular people, and it's putting the entire future of these communities at risk.
There's a quote from the source material that just hits you. It says, "We are building smart cities on top of dying aquifers." Think about that. The irony is just staggering and frankly dangerous. We're building this amazing digital future on top of the very groundwater supplies that are running out.
So, you have to be asking, if the cost is this high, why isn't this a bigger story? Well, to answer that, we have to look at the corporate side of things and the kind of costs that you won't find on any official balance sheet.
This table really lays it all out. A traditional data center, its main thing was electricity consumption. But these new AI facilities, they need fresh water and electricity, a double whammy. But what's really shocking is that last row, the environmental output. It's not just waste heat anymore. Now it's also something called concentrated brine, which is basically toxic, mineral-heavy wastewater that often just gets dumped right back into the local ecosystem. Now, you might hear big tech companies talking about water offsets, or making these grand promises to be water positive. But the source material is really clear on this point. You can't refill a local aquifer with a press release. It just doesn't work that way. The water taken from a community is gone from that community, period. And really, this image of the hourglass just captures the whole problem perfectly, doesn't it? We are pouring a finite, absolutely essential natural resource, water, into the top, and what's coming out the bottom is a synthetic one, AI. The sand is falling, and time is running out. Okay, so I know this all sounds pretty bleak, but it leads to the big question. Is a sustainable AI even possible? Let's take a look at what a path forward could actually look like.
The good news is there is some hope on the technology side of things. People are working on really cool innovations like closed-loop cooling systems that basically just recycle the same water over and over again. Or even total immersion tech, where servers are literally dunked in special oil to keep them cool. These could slash water use, but, and this is a big but, technology by itself isn't the whole answer.
See, we need a new way to even measure the problem. The source material proposes a new metric, and it's called WEPT, which stands for Water Efficiency Per Token. So what's a token? Think of it as just a tiny piece of data an AI works with, like a single word. So just like we measure miles per gallon for a car, WEPT would let us measure the water efficiency of an AI model. It would finally create some real accountability and give these companies a huge incentive to build AI that's, a lot less thirsty.
And that brings us to the final choice we have to make.
I mean, look at this image. We can have the most incredible, advanced technology in the entire world. But if it's built on a foundation of cracked, dry earth, what have we really accomplished? This isn't just a technical problem we can invent our way out of. It's a values problem. And so, that leaves us with this one final question. It's something that really each of us has to think about as we use these amazing new tools. Is the convenience, the magic of an instant AI response, is it worth the very real cost of depleting the water that a family, a farm, or an entire community needs just to survive? The Silicon Drought is no longer some future problem. It's here right now, and we have to decide what we truly value more: